And I'd like to welcome you all to our Lunch Club Travel Edition, where we take a virtual trip every week to a new country or place, which is hosted by Lou. We'll be taking a trip to Taiwan today, so I really look forward to assisting with the trivia at the end. So make sure you stay on for that. But Lou, the floor is yours. And once again, thanks so much for presenting this session, as always.
Thank you, Alexander, and thank you again for this tremendous slides presentation, and thank you to all the seniors who are joining today. This is actually a very, very special presentation for me because Taiwan has a huge amount of importance for me in my life. But before we get that, let me start off with a quick trivia question. And Alexander, if we could add this to the trivia, that would be great. Let's see if you all can identify this location. Okay, here we go. Let's see if you can identify this location. Where is that? Can you all see it?
Is that Florida?
Yeah, and where in Florida?
Uh, Tampa Bay?
Well, that's pretty close. Now, who responded there? That was who? That's pretty good. So, for all you weather fans, today's October 9th, and Hurricane Milton is expected to make landfall as
Yeah.
a as an
Yeah.
apocalyptic hurricane in Western Florida. And I don't know if you know about this, but your iPads have access to webcams all over the world. And this is a live webcam shot of Siesta Key, Florida, which is the southern beach of Sarasota.
Mm.
And I've got this going in the background on my laptop because I want to watch the storm surge come in.
Yeah.
So if you all want to do that, you can search for webcam Sarasota in Google, and you can see all the webcams and watch live as the storm surge comes in. You can also expect to lose power at some point.
Yeah.
But we were able to do that during Hurricane Ian on Sanibel Island until the storm surge cut off the camera. All right, so back to Taiwan. So Alexander, you put together a great presentation, but I have some very deep emotional history with Taiwan that I wanted to start off with and talking to our group. And if you don't mind, maybe just 5 minutes of your time. So back in 1982, I think I shared a little about this. My family I grew up in suffered a big tragedy. My sister was murdered in Detroit, and I sort of went into an emotional tailspin. And so if you're in Detroit and you go through an emotional tailspin, what do? Well, you move to LA is what you do. So I moved to LA, and I basically lived with friends from time to time, until they got sick of me and they booted me out. And I was in my early 20s, and eventually I had to get a job after I pretty much sold off everything, had no money left at all. And I got a job. I got a job. I was actually trained in computer programming, which I hated. Uh, so I finally said I am not going to get a job in computer programming, and I got a job selling insurance leads at an insurance company. I mean, it was a minimum wage job, it was a sweatshop. Nobody in their right mind would take a job like that, but I just did not want to be a programmer. And so I took the job, and lo and behold, I loved it. I mean, who loves cold calling to get insurance leads? I loved it. And what I came to find was that I loved sales. I loved to sell stuff. Didn't know that in my early 20s. So I went from there and said, okay, I know computers, I know sales. How about I sell computers? It was in the early 80s. That's when the PC first came out. So I answered an ad at Computerland in Whittier, California. That's where Richard Nixon was born. And and lo and behold, I met a guy, and he was pretty much fresh from Taipei, Taiwan. Barely spoke a word of English. His name is Ed Chu. And Ed Chu was one of the two most significant people of my professional life. I love Ed Chu because Ed Chu changed my world. And he was from Taipei, fresh off the plane. And Ed loved me. And it was like this, match made in heaven because I spoke English. I love sales. And, I went from beyond broke to working with Ed to create, we became the sixth largest computer sales store in the world by the time we were done. I mean, I just loved Ed. He loved me, and we just sold stuff like crazy. And so let me show you a picture of a place and see who can identify this next place. So I'm going to stop sharing this picture, and I'm going to branch off to another picture if I could figure out how to get there. Give me a sec. Give me just a sec. Got to remember where I saved this place. Okay, let's try this one. Okay, I got it. So give me a second. Give me a second. Okay, let's see who can identify this place. Where is this place? Anybody know? Can you all see it? I'll pan a little bit.
Yeah.
Anybody have an idea what language is that up on the screen there? What language is that?
I guess it's Chinese.
The Chinese.
Yeah, that's Mandarin Chinese.
Uh-huh.
So where do you think this is?
China.
Taiwan.
No, good guess.
No, it says Alhambra, California.
Yeah, who got that? Boy, we got some skills in this
Where do you
game here.
see that at?
It says it right there on the left-hand
In that
side.
little
Lily.
Oh, cheaters. Okay. No. That's totally fair. So turns out that Ed was part of this massive immigration from Taipei to the United States, to Taiwan in the early 1980s. There was an earlier migration. A lot of people got into the laundry business and things like that. But the large second migration was a lot of engineers and electronics and the like. And Alhambra, California, and Monterey Park, California, you might as well have been in Taipei. I mean, it was, and it's still like this. This is from today. This is from Google Maps. I mean, it's a very, very high concentration of people from Taiwan, and a lot of them are educated college grads. So Ed introduced me to this whole community. For years, the only friends I had, the only things I did, because I was in bad shape before that, were Taiwanese living in Alhambra, California, most of which barely spoke any English. I was going to their weddings. I was doing all kinds of stuff. But then Ed had this idea. He said, these PCs, this is 1983. These PCs are awful expensive. He had a friend named Chi Young who worked for Atari. Remember the video game Pong?
Yeah.
So Chi Young worked for Atari, and Chi Young had this idea. Well, let's make an IBM PC compatible computer. I mean, it's literally the first one in the world. And so Chi Young, who was Ed's friend, went to Atari, Plus it was called, which made the boards for Atari, and he manufactured the first PC compatible motherboard to bring back to the United States. He was going to make a fortune, Chi Young. So I was right in the middle of all this stuff. I was a young early 20s guy. And so Chi Young brings his motherboard back, and guess what happens? This is another quiz question, Alex. Guess what happens when Chi Young got back?
What happened?
Anybody want to guess? I'll give one guess if you get it right.
Made big money.
No, she was thrown in jail.
Oh no.
Chi Young was thrown in jail because IBM claimed there was a patent infraction on his BIOS chip.
Oh.
And it was a microcode that made the computer compatible, just like an IBM PC. Back in the day, IBM protected its rights for the PC, but she won that lawsuit. And all of a sudden, PC compatibles exploded all over the United States. And like the guy named Michael Dell, he opened a place called PC Limited in his apartment complex, and and back in Texas, and he grew into Dell computers, which y'all are probably familiar with today.
Yeah.
Whole lot smarter than me and she and everybody else. But we all started right in that same beginning. And the people, and it was just such a magical time in my life. And they were all from Taiwan. And I'm going to share another screen. I don't know if can you guys see this? Can you guys see this? ASI?
Yeah.
My main contact it was when I first got going was Christine Liang. Her husband James, her brother James Chu founded ViewSonic. You guys know ViewSonic? They make monitors. Well, they became a very large company. And so it was this magical time in the world. So I quit Computerland, and one day I walked in the store and I brought in a computer called Monarch Micro, and it was my own brand of computer, and I was going to sell my own brand called Monarch Micro, and everybody laughed at me. This is really early on, when there's only the PC. And in my early 20s, I ended up flying to Taipei to import computer parts from Taipei into the United States to build my own model computer called the Monarch computer. And that was based in Garden Grove, California. And folks, that was the funnest time of my professional life. I mean, it was so crazy. It was so reckless. I basically built a company with no money, did it on a float, had absolutely nothing to lose because my life was a total shambles besides this. And it was just so fun. And my contact in Taipei, get this, I didn't realize until years later. My contact in Taipei, when I used to go buy parts, she owned one of the largest modeling studios in Taipei. And literally every night we would go out to the biggest discotheques with her, with like 20 of these absolutely gorgeous models from Taipei, and we would dance all night. And it was just so much fun. I didn't realize until later that, in fact, much later, like 20 years later, that people who own modeling studios in Taipei and brought large amounts of attractive women to a nightclub, well, they were probably madams back then.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's just how it worked in Taiwan. And it took a friend of mine back in the 2010s, so literally 20 years later, to take the mask off and say, Lou, that's what you were working with there. But it was just so fun, and I was a Christian guy and kept my nose clean, but it was just a lot of real fun. And one thing about the Taiwanese folks, and I have so much respect for them, and I think it's show that the how successful they've been in this country is probably attributed to this. They had the most amazing work ethic. I never met any people in my entire life who worked as hard as the Taiwanese did in their computer companies, from the crack of dawn till about 6 o'clock every day, working so hard and trying to get ahead. And they are all going to become, big captains of industry. They all wanted to be entrepreneurs that I was with. It was everybody's dream. If you were sweeping the floor in the computer factory, someday you're going to be a computer entrepreneur. And half of them became that. And but what I'd also say about them is I never met people that also like to have so much fun. So they would go from working incredibly hard during the day, and they'd flick a switch at like 6 o'clock, and they would all fill up the nightclubs. And these Taiwanese nightclubs were packed every single night, Monday through Sunday. And they were full of people who worked hard during the day, and then they party hard at night. And it was just so much fun. So I wanted to share that story. It was longer than 5 minutes, but I had to get that off my chest because my heart really went out when I saw that the topic was Taiwan. So I'm going to stop sharing. And this is ASI. Christine Liang was my contact. She was written up in New York Times. I knew her before she even started her company, and she was the Female Entrepreneur of the Year for the United States for a number of years. Still owns a large multi-billion-dollar company in San Francisco. And You know, we all got our start at the same time. These folks were a whole lot smarter than me, though. So let me stop sharing here and share the slide deck. Oh, actually, maybe I can from here. Actually, I think I have to share the sound, though. So let me do that. So any thoughts or questions about that journey? Thanks for, and you know, another thing I wanted to share is how much luck had to do with it. You know, it was like none of that was attributed to me. It was just pure luck to have encountered the people I did and to have the relationships with those, you know, people who change your life. I bet we all have some very special people who literally changed our lives at one point or another. You know, maybe we ought to.
Are you in touch with any of them? Do you speak with them occasionally?
Well, you know, I spoke with Ed I first met him in 1983, and when my computer business lasted all the way until 2001, so it was 18 years, and so I was close friends with him all the way then. Then when I moved to DC, I sort of lost touch with him when I moved to DC. And I've recently thought about trying to reach out to him. I've tried calling him. I mean, he's got to be in his mid 80s now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I was 24 when I met him, and he was 42. So he's 18 years older than me. So he's in his early 80s now, if he's still alive.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I thought about it. All right, well, y'all didn't join the call for this, so let me get to it here. Hold on. But maybe we ought to have some sessions, you know, about some of the special people that, you know, I'm sure we all have stories like this, you know, in one way or another, people who change their lives. All right, let me share my screen here. Just a sec. Hold on. Okay, and I'm going to share screens, share sound. Okay. All right, y'all seeing that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right, so let's learn a little bit about Taiwan. Okay, so where is Taiwan? So since my intro was so long, rather than going back to the map, anybody know how to get to Taiwan from DC? Does anybody know where Taiwan is? Maybe we should show it on a map. Yeah, let me do that. So I'm gonna
By
stop
China.
Go to the next two
Taiwan's
slides
by
down.
China.
Oh, thanks, Alex. Thank you. Yeah, so thank you, Mr. Harold, too. So here's DC. So you can get there from Europe over Russia, but I think a more direct way would go heading west, and this is a direct flight landing into Taipei. You can't really see it here, but Taiwan's often in the news nowadays. And any thoughts about some of the news you've seen about Taiwan? Oh, Alex, thank you very much. So here we are on our journey to Taiwan, and let's zoom out because we've already caught the plane. And we're going to fly over the United States and end up in Taiwan. So, oh boy, bad time to go there. Looks like there's a hurricane. So here we are in Taiwan. So anybody know about the news right here? Anybody know what the name of this body of water right here? It's been in the news a lot lately. And maybe they'll talk about it in the video presentation. This is this, you know, China is claiming Taiwan as its own. And Taiwan didn't become a separate country until, what was it, some separatists from Mao Zedong went to Taiwan, the capitalists, people who didn't want to fall into communism, to form Taiwan. So China's had a claim on Taiwan, but they also have a claim on the straits between here. And there's a lot of military incursions that are happening right now. This could be the dawn of World War III right here. As China...
Mediterranean.
No, not that one.
Okay.
Good guess, though. I think it's what, the Straits of Taiwan or Straits of China. It's the Straits of something.
Yeah.
Maybe if I zoom in. And there's a lot of military incursions happening here. So let's hope it doesn't explode into a big confrontation.
I know, yeah.
All right, let's see if I can get back to the presentation. Oh, I think I did it.
I
So
think
here we are.
too.
Here we are in Taiwan. Let's take a quick trip to Taiwan.
Hello from Taiwan.
I should let go. I should let go.
I've made it to Taiwan thanks to Taiwan Tourism, who is hosting me for this trip. It's my first time here, and I'm going to be spending the next week exploring and road tripping around the main island with a guide. And I'm so excited because the itinerary looks incredible. I'm currently in Taipei, which is the capital city. It's really pretty. It's surrounded by these rolling green hills. And yesterday after I got in, I went on a little walk and hiked up to an area called Elephant Mountain that has really nice city skyline views. I found that Taipei has a bit of everything depending on what you're looking for. There are both new and old areas of the city, so you get everything from luxury shopping and skyscrapers to historic temples like Longshan Temple, which is nearly 300 years old and decorated with beautiful dragons. Taipei is also home to Taipei 101, the iconic skyscraper of the city's skyline. This was the tallest building in the world from 2004 to 2010, and the design is really interesting because the building is stabilized by a ball. It has the largest damper ball in the world suspended from the 92nd to the 87th floor that sways to offset movements caused by strong winds and earthquakes. And the observatory is really nice. It has a very sleek aesthetic with little dreamy sets to take pictures. Around sunset, we headed over to Daodaocheng, which is a vibrant historic neighborhood buzzing with people and shops. This was at the tail end of the Lantern Festival too, so there were lanterns everywhere. This was probably my favorite area of Taipei. And after a stroll past the shops, we cut a couple blocks over to the Pier 5 Riverside Wharf, which is full of food and drink vendors overlooking the river. And it's the perfect spot to grab some food and watch the sunset. This morning we're at the Bitezhao Trail, which is this beautiful hiking area right on the coast. It has this staircase that's rolling through the hills, and it's one of the most scenic places I've ever been. Before this trip, when I thought of Taiwan, I just thought of the city of Taipei, so I really underestimated how much nature there is here, especially on the east coast of the main island where we're driving. 2/3 of this island is forested mountains, so there are tons of hiking trails and huge waterfalls and a lot of scenic coastline. One morning we pulled over to watch the waves crashing into the shore, and there was this lone fisherman standing out on a rock repeatedly getting sprayed, and he seemed totally cool with it. Like, this didn't faze him at all. Taiwan also has 9 national parks. We spent a day exploring Taroko National Park, which is so beautiful. We visited Kingshi Cliff, which is known for its incredible ocean colors, and it really is spectacular the way the bright blue abruptly changes to deep navy here. I'm I'm currently staying at the Chu Resort and Flow Retreat, which is a resort and wellness retreat with an environment designed to help you unplug, to de-stress, to disconnect. Everything has a very zen, minimalist, earthy design. They have these beautiful cottage rooms. They have beautiful hot springs you can relax in. They even offer art therapy here. Yesterday I got to take a piece of snake strip stone, which is a local marble found here, and I smashed it up with a hammer, and then I took the pieces and assembled them with dried botanicals to make a coaster. It was so nice, and it had me thinking, when is the last time I did something creative with no expectations? Because like making videos and taking pictures, there's definitely something creative to that, but I always have an expectation for it. Like I'm making something I'm going to post, so I have like these things that have to be perfect or have to be done a certain way. But I can't remember the last time I just sat down and like did some art or created without any pressure on myself. And it reminded me that I need to do things like that more often. And then after that, I headed over to Flow Retreat and had a sound therapy session, which was incredible. The birds are chirping, the grounds are beautiful. It's a wonderful morning. Next, we headed further south to Taitung to go cycling along Mr. Brown Avenue. This is a road reserved exclusively for cyclists that runs through rice fields, and it was so lovely. And then we headed into town to grab lunch at a restaurant called Vegetarian Boy. And speaking of food in Taiwan, for starters, all of the food is good. We went to Fu Hang Soy Milk, which is a Michelin-starred breakfast restaurant in Taipei. Highly recommend adding it to your itinerary. It is very popular though, so prepare to wait in line. But another thing that's a must is the night markets. You'll find them all over, and they're a collection of street food vendors with the best food. And it's also a great way to sample a variety of foods because a lot of vendors will let you choose your portions. Our last stop on the trip was the sunny city of Kaohsiung, and I could tell right away that this was a cool city to live in. Like, they transformed the old shipping warehouses on the waterfront into an art center and a food hall. There's beaches to hang out at, cool hotels. I stayed at H2O Hotel, which was super nice and had great city views. And for sunset, we took the ferry across the harbor. This is like a 5-minute ferry ride. It's super fast. And then we walked up to the Kaohsiung Lighthouse, and this was one of my favorite stops of the entire trip. This lighthouse is gorgeous. I took so many photos here, and it's up on a hill, so you get incredible views across the ocean, across the skyline. It's a great place for sunset, and then after the sun went down, fireworks started going across the river, and it was the perfect send-off for my final night in Taiwan. Well, this is the end of my trip. I hope you've enjoyed seeing some of Taiwan. It's so beautiful. One of the things that stood out to me the most during my time here, it's something very small, but the day that we were bicycling and stopped for lunch, when we left our bikes outside of the restaurant, I asked my guide, are they okay here? Do we need to lock them up? And she was like, oh no, theft isn't a problem here. And then in the coming days, I noticed as we walked through neighborhoods and down city streets that people don't lock their bikes up here. Like, you just leave your bike outside a restaurant or outside your house and it's totally fine, even at night. And there are so many places in the world that you would not do that. Like, most of the cities I've lived in, you would not leave a bike out on the street that's not locked up. And I just thought that was really nice and speaks to the culture and the community here. Thanks for watching. I hope you all are doing well, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
All right. Well, that was a nice video.
Yeah.
What a gorgeous country. What do you all think?
It is beautiful.
It's beautiful. And all the food is good, they said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that they had a 7-Eleven.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I
That
mean,
is good.
you don't hear much about Taiwan as a tourist place, but it looks as beautiful as half the places we've seen in our whole countries.
Mm-hmm.
So why does China want it?
Oh, probably because of, well, everything we just saw.
Wow.
Well, first off, it's a massive economic hub. So, you know, I mentioned Plus Plus, which started Pong and that kind of thing. You know, then that grew into motherboard makers, and one of them is ASUS. I think Taiwan has become the electronics capital to some degree of the world. I think ASUS, that tiny little company, when I went there, became, I think, the largest company in the country. And Taiwan Semiconductor, if y'all are familiar with that name, I believe that they are the highest valued semiconductor, the maker of those chips in the whole world. And there's a lot of nervousness about China taking over Taiwan because of Taiwan Semiconductor, because they have a very large share of the global semiconductor market, the maker of those chips. So Taiwan really, really took off with the electronics. And what was interesting is, that back when I was doing that, Taiwan had a head start on China. It was very similar culture between China and Taiwan, although Taiwan was formed by a lot of capitalists. The people who didn't want to become communists went there. So capitalism was sort of in their veins already. But they also had like a 20-year head start on China with electronics, because China didn't really become a market country until, the late 90s, early 00s. And by then, Taiwan by then was a powerhouse. Taiwan was. So they really had a head start on China. Now, China's done a whole lot of catching up since then. But you can see why China would want Taiwan, because they have a lot of economic assets, and the peoples all have the same origin from the mainland. Before Mao, well, you're going to hear about that probably right now. So let's get into that.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Asia, and here's Taiwan. Now let's take a look, shall we? Consisting of one big tropical island and scores of small ones, Taiwan was first inhabited back in stony times by Austronesians, who were exceptionally skilled mariners, the first great sailors of history, who, for some reason, decided to spread out and settle on lands spanning 2 oceans. This was the Austronesian expansion, by which that group of people set out from Taiwan and took possession of islands from Madagascar to Hawaii. Various cultures arose among the native Taiwanese. Mystery monoliths were assembled. Then do you know what happened? Not much. That's right. Not much happened for a long time. Taiwan went along doing its thing for centuries, and no one really bothered it. It isn't until 1349 that we get a written account of Taiwan. This was provided by an explorer from China called Wang Dayuan. He described the good land, the big trees and the mountains, how the people cannibalized their enemies and produced gold, beeswax, millet and beans for trade. In 1624, the Dutch arrived to establish a colony, and 2 years later the Spanish did the same. The Dutch elbowed the Spanish out and encouraged the immigration of Chinese farmers to Taiwan to work the land. The European colonial presence did not last long, however, for in the 1660s the Chinese used their numerical supremacy to boot them out and establish their own state there. This state was loyal to the Ming dynasty of China, a dynasty that had already fallen to the non-Chinese Qing dynasty. Ming loyalists hoped to use Taiwan as a base whereby to gather strength and attack and hopefully overthrow the Qing, but it was not to be. Qing troops invaded and defeated the Ming forces, and the Qing emperor was so happy that he wrote 2 poems celebrating the victory. But the emperor otherwise did not think much of Taiwan, and himself referred to it as a ball of mud.
Ball of mud? Dude, Hollywood is that way.
Although the government discouraged immigration to Taiwan, the ingress of Han settlers surged, and the Chinese quickly became the ethnic majority, and the territory run by the natives continued to shrink. After a Japanese invasion, China began to actively pursue a policy of colonization to bring the land under total Qing dynasty control. But before this could be achieved, China lost against Japan in a war, and thereafter the Japanese assumed control of Taiwan. There was resistance, but Japan crushed it. The indigenous Taiwanese were removed from their homes and placed in government-appointed farming districts. The Tayal and Bunun tribes fought the most fiercely against the colonists, but it was the Sedik who, in 1930, led the last major rebellion. The Japanese stomped down the rebels with exceeding brutality, with aircraft employed to drop mustard gas on guerrilla fighters, the first instance of chemical warfare in Asia. Japan invested quite heavily into modernizing Taiwan, but in 1937, as Japan again went to war with China, Japan pushed the promotion of Japanese culture in Taiwan and suppressed against Chinese customs and discouraged the use of the Chinese language. During World War II, Taiwan came under heavy bombardment by the Americans. After the Japanese surrender in 1945, most Japanese were expelled. Now over in China, a lot had been happening. The Qing dynasty was overthrown in 1912, and a republic had been declared. Warlords had carved up the country, and then there was all that craziness with Japan, and a civil war arose against the republic by the communists. These communists, under the leadership of Mao, defeated the Republic of China, which evacuated its government to Taiwan, and took charge there under Generalissimo. Both the new communist government in China and the Republic government in Taiwan argued they were the true legitimate government of China, and both claimed the other as belonging to it. In Taiwan, draconian measures were implemented to suffocate any pro-communist sentiment. Many thousands of people were imprisoned, tortured, or executed. The wobbly economy began to steady and thrive after the United States provided foreign aid. Here's the US president visiting Taiwan in 1960, and it looks like he's having a great time. Now, while it was still under a dictatorial regime, Taiwan invested heavily in agriculture and industrialization, and underwent an economic boom known as the Taiwan Miracle. The late 20th century saw the gradual decline of dictatorship and the introduction of democracy. Relations with communist China improved, but when a certain trade treaty was proposed with China, the Sunflower student protests arose to protest it, arguing that it was not in Taiwan's economic or political interests. They succeeded in halting its passing. Since the days of Mao, the status of Taiwan in relation to China has been characterized by tenseness. In 2022, China was enraged after the US ignored its wishes for it to stay out of Taiwan's affairs. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi, shrugged off the threat and visited Taiwan, and promised that it had the United States' full support. China reacted by engaging in intimidating military exercises around Taiwan, something they repeated the following year after Speaker Kevin McCarthy visited. Questions, concerns, and political apprehensions aside, Taiwan today enjoys a very high level of human development and is one of the richest countries in the world and is ranked as the most free nation in Asia. And it also invented bubble tea. But what awaits Taiwan in the years ahead? What do you think? Comment below. But for now, bye-bye!
Well, that was exciting. Any thoughts about that, folks?
Well, I see why China and the United States are gonna. Well, they're not fighting, but you know that each one wants it. Well, because Taiwan is one of the richest countries in the world. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they sure. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, they,
It's one thing they don't mention though, Geraldine.
yeah,
You see how close Taiwan is to China?
yeah.
You don't think the US want to put those military bases there?
Oh,
And the Chinese don't want them there, right?
Oh,
No, they don't want them there. And who would want, that's a Cuban Missile Crisis, that's Afghanistan, you right at my doorstep.
right.
No, they don't want that. They don't want that. Yes, all those things Lou said about economics are quite true. But that military might is the thing that settles every piece of dust.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Hadn't thought
I
about
never
that.
thought about that. I'm sure that's true. Imagine how we'd feel if China took over Nova Scotia or something
Absolutely.
like that. Yeah. Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, good observation. Thanks for sharing. All right. Well, let's go here. By the way, let's hopefully I don't screw this up, but let's do a quick cutaway and see how the storm surge is doing.
Okay.
All right. No surge yet. Okay. We'll cut back later. All right. So hopefully I didn't screw it up. Here we go again.
So sad.
Okay. A little bit about the culture of Taiwan.
Mm-hmm.
Arts and crafts are a huge part of the Taiwanese culture, so our United States Tour Operators Association member Ritz Tours let us experience the artistic side of Taiwan, like the delicate pottery of Inca. Let's go make some pottery. I was ready to get my hands dirty with some first-hand training at a local pottery school. So we're here in Inca. This town is known for its beautiful ceramics and pottery, and I'm at a pottery studio trying to learn how to make a vase from this master pottery maker over here. I have to say, it's a lot harder than it looks. Though my teacher and I didn't speak the same language, we were able to communicate through the clay and through trial and error, of course. All right, I finished my masterpiece. I actually kind of got the hang of it. You just have to feel it. High five. Now my vase didn't come out as great as some of the ones that they produce. You can still come here and take a workshop and learn from them, and you get a great appreciation for this craft. The shops that lined the old street were full of beautiful pottery and other handmade local crafts. This is a great stop for gifts for friends back home. The National Palace Museum wasn't going to be displaying my pottery, but they did display masterpieces of many of Taiwan's artisans, such as the chicken cup, which recently sold for $36 million, which is a record in Chinese pottery. Intricate carving is the highlight at this museum, from the carved olive pit to the concentric circles of ivory, but my favorites were the meat-shaped stone and the jadeite cabbage. These two looked real enough to eat. It was mind-boggling. The all-important temples of Taiwan are a perfect marriage of art and culture, religion and community. Longshan Temple in downtown Taipei was a beautiful microcosm of all of this, set against the modern urban city streets. Inside were altars to many different deities, plus a large central altar to the patron goddess. So these are the divine blocks, and people come here if they have a question that they need an answer to from the goddess. So they ask the goddess their question, and they drop them right here, and depending on how they fall, they get a yes or no response. So I'm going to try it out. And the rituals of worship were a sight to behold, offering handmade floral alms, lighting incense for wishes, throwing the divine blocks. This all made the temple experience come to life. And though there are so many intricacies of Taiwan's belief system and ancient culture, no matter where we went, Taiwan let me in, so I could feel like I was a part of it.
All right. Well, I'm gonna jump into food real quick because I don't want to miss any of this.
Taiwan is a place you want to visit on an empty stomach because one of the main activities you'll want to engage in is eating. As it is around the world though, eating food isn't just fueling your body for another day. It's tied to social and cultural norms, to memory and ritual, and so much more. This video is all about traditional Taiwanese foods, and if it whets your appetite, check out the other videos in our Taiwan series on the top foods to try, street food, desserts, and Taiwanese cooking to really get your taste buds going. Let's get things fired up by starting off with hot pot. I've heard this referred to as Asian fondue because it's very social and not something intended for dining solo. Hot pot is basically a pot of simmering broth that sits in the center of the table on a portable burner while everyone gathers around it to cook their own food. We went to Liu's restaurant in Kaohsiung, which is best known for its copper hot pots made with salted, cold fermented green cabbage, which it makes in-house. We had different side dishes like dumplings, calamari, chicken, and beef rolls with green onion, and there are lots of choices of sauces as well. The green vegetables are shoots that have the best name in Taiwan, Dragon Whiskers. This was also the first time I ever tried Taiwanese apple cider, which if you've seen my other videos, you know started a pretty serious obsession. We also tried a smoked plum juice that's really popular. The unique taste reminded me of barbecue sauce. When dessert was served, it looked to me like Wonder Bread and funfetti sprinkles, but was actually a steamed red bean cake. From the social hot pot, let's next jump to a typical Taiwanese meal packed for one that's really popular for quick on-the-go meals, a box lunch. We went to a place in Fulong after the International Sand Sculpture Festival, and I just love when restaurants have plastic food outside. Does anyone else know what I'm talking about? It just reminds me of like traveling or playing supermarket with toys as a kid. And speaking of nostalgia, box lunches are about the size of an old VHS tape, and they typically come served with rice, cabbage, pork, tofu, pickled vegetables, sausage, and a hard-boiled egg. Next
I'm
up
getting
is
really
a well-known restaurant in Tainan called Asha, where the signature dish is steamed sticky rice with mud crab. We also tried a fish that's special to southern Taiwan called shan-u, I hope I'm saying that right, which is similar to eel and has no bones. Also on the menu were sautéed milkfish with dried peanut, boiled chicken, and a platter of sausage, steamed mangrove crab, meatballs, and fried shrimp nuggets with bamboo shoots. Bonus points, by the way, for noticing that the shape of this plate looks like Taiwan. My favorite part of the meal was dessert, a sweet soup made with taro, tapioca, and purple rice. Those little pink balls, by the way, are made of glutinous rice and they're called tangyuan. Delicious. There was another place we ate in Tainan that also made a lasting impression. It was started by a fisherman in 1895 who needed to make money while fishing was difficult during typhoons. So he sold noodles that he carried around with a pole over his shoulder. The name of the restaurant literally means living through the bad months. And the noodles were so popular that that bucket of noodles he carried on a pole is now a restaurant run by the 4th generation of that fisherman's family. They still serve those famous noodles, and the recipe has been passed down for more than 100 years. That's why they're called 100-year or danzai noodles. They're seasoned with special minced pork, shrimp, vinegar sauce, and prawn soup. The table was also laid with grilled milkfish belly, deep-fried wonton, intestine, tofu, chicken leg, sausage with garlic, and bamboo shoots. To drink, we tried an old-fashioned soda that has a marble in the top. And, of course, apple cider. To end the meal, we tried a popular treat found in bakeries in Taiwan, a butter flake pastry called sun cake. You can never eat enough noodles, that's a fact, and I have to share another unforgettable bowl of noodles we had on the tiny island of Xiaoliuqiu. The restaurant is open air and roadside, and people can just pull up with their scooters for a quick bite. It's famous because the braised pork here is cooked the old-fashioned way, meaning over driftwood and dried twigs instead of gas. Along with braised pork, the noodles are served with egg, bean sprout, and vegetables. This place is bumpin', and everywhere you look, people are tucking into a big bowl. They also serve sweet potato leaves topped with garlic and braised pork, and wontons, fried meatballs, pig ear, and pig's blood rice cake, which is made of, as you might guess, pig's blood and rice. It's a really popular dish, and Mark likened it to eating fruit leather. I couldn't make a video about traditional Taiwanese food without talking about my love for dumplings. We went to a popular spot in Taipei called Takumi. You pre-order outside and they bring you in once A, your order is ready, obviously, and B, there's a free place to seat you. They serve 3 types of dumplings. One has pork and garlic, then there's their signature dumplings with chives, cabbage, and fresh pork, and the most unique one that they're famous for, the green scallop dumplings. The pastry is made of green algae, and inside is cabbage, pork, and dried scallop. All the dumplings are made by hand right in the back of the shop. I could actually see where they were making them from where I was seated in the restaurant. And I dare say they make them as fast as you can eat them. Other than a mountain of dumplings, we also had a common Taiwanese appetizer, which is tofu with a preserved duck egg covered in a sweet sauce and green onion. One of the most interesting places we ate was at Old New Restaurant in Kaohsiung. It's covered in antiques and collectibles from days past in Taiwan. There we had seafood like deep-fried shrimp with sour spicy sauce and steamed fish with green onion, plus crab cabbage soup. My favorite soup, however, was very suitably served in this adorable little pumpkin pot, pumpkin congee with seafood. They also served diced beef, cashew nuts, salad, and king oyster mushrooms, plus what I thought were mushrooms when they were first brought out, but are actually buns with a cream filling. And now I just call them Super Mario buns. For dessert, we had fruit, with heart-shaped watermelon, of course, and taro coconut milk with sago. Sago is a starch extracted from the pith of various tropical palm stems. A meal we'll never forget was at James' Kitchen in Taipei. It's tucked away on a narrow street, and the entrance is ridiculously charming. It's small and cozy, and on our way there, I realized Anthony Bourdain had been there on one of his shows. Going there to have a meal felt like a fitting way to pay tribute and say thank you to him. We ordered a vegetarian braised tofu skin roll, Taiwanese noodles that came with vegetables and seafood mixed in, and minced pork rice. Minced pork rice is a staple dish in Taiwan, and this is personally the best one I tried. When the bill came, the name Tony was written on it, as in Anthony Bourdain, which may have been coincidence, but gave me goosebumps anyway. I feel really lucky I was able to try so many new foods in Taiwan. I'd love to hear if any of these foods stand out to you as ones you'd like to eat, so leave a comment and let me know what you think. And check out the rest of our Taiwan series for more videos, as well as videos from other foods we've tried around the world. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and make sure to subscribe for more travel adventures. Thanks for watching!
Wow, that's about the tastiest food I think I've seen in any of our videos. What do y'all think?
Did look good. I'd like to have those noodles.
I just wanted to go eat some of those noodles.
I like that box lunch.
Yeah, that looked good too.
It beats better than a half smoke.
Those dumplings, wow.
Yeah, wow, that was some good looking food there. Whoa. All right. We'll see how much time we have left, because I think we're out of time. Let's see. Fun facts. I don't know if we have time for this, Alex. We only have 9 minutes left.
You can play through it. I think it's about a like 7-8 minute long, 6 minute long video. So just try to go through some of the portions.
Surprising facts about Taiwan. Prepared to be amazed, because Taiwan is more than just bubble tea and night markets. We have some seriously wonderful.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip this guy.
These two countries are completely different. People still think Taiwan has sandy white beaches and those famous ladyboys. Even CNN has mistakenly referred to Taiwan as Thailand in one of their news stories. Second fact, bubble tea was invented in Taiwan. Bubble tea is a well-known drink that started in Taiwan, but there are a couple different stories about how it got started.
You guys ever hear of bubble tea?
Yeah.
Worker drops
Starbucks is making
several restaurants in
iced
DC
tea
that sell it.
Really?
And his boss loved it.
Does it taste
You
good?
can still visit this original store in
Love
Taichung
it.
where this happened. Others say a tea shop in Tainan invented it 2 years
let's move on to
earlier.
the next one.
Regardless, bubble tea is now sold worldwide and is part of everyday life. Third fact, Taiwan has one scooter for every 1.7 persons. In Taiwan, you'll see lots of scooters on the road and parked on the sidewalks. There are so many that there's almost one for every 1.7 people.
Jump to the next one.
Taiwan has the second highest concentration of convenience stores in the world. Taiwan is known as the land of convenience because it has an abundance in convenience stores like 7-Eleven, Family Mart, which are found everywhere, from the high mountains to the rural areas to airports, train stations, fishing ports, and everywhere in between. Despite their small size, they offer a wide range of products and services, from draft beer to bubble tea to makeup and even disposable underwear. Taiwan has the second highest number of convenience stores per capita, just behind South Korea.
Wow. That's a good
Fifth fact, Taiwan's garbage trucks play Beethoven. In Taiwan, garbage trucks play Beethoven music to signal trash collection time, similar to ice cream trucks here in the United States, without selling ice cream though. They come around a couple times a day, and it's a routine people in Taiwan are used to. It's one of the many unique and fun things about Taiwan. Make sure you check out the link above or in the description below for my garbage truck video. Hey, are you enjoying these surprising facts about Taiwan? Don't keep them to yourself. Make sure you share them with your friends, family, and pets. They will thank you for it. And don't forget to watch to the end and tell me your favorite fact in the comments below. Sixth fact, Taiwan has the world's most dangerous festival. Every year in Taiwan, there's a festival where fireworks are shot at people instead of into the sky. It's called the Yanchi High Fireworks Festival, and people even need to wear helmets.
It's tougher than the Burning Man.
Have a chance to stay safe.
It's like DC.
Things still happen though.
It's like DC on 4th of July.
It's a crazy event.
Oh my gosh.
Seventh fact, Taiwan has the world's largest collection of Chinese art. When the KMT army fled to Taiwan after losing the communists, They brought along with them a lot of valuable art pieces, mainly from the Palace Museum in Beijing. Today, more than 700,000 pieces of art are kept in the Taiwan National Palace Museum. Eighth fact, Taiwan produces the best oolong tea in the world. If you love tea, you've probably heard of Taiwanese oolong tea. It's the best oolong tea in the world. This is because it's partially oxidized and it's mostly produced in the Taiwan mountains where the thinner air helps make the tea flavors more concentrated, leading to the birth of the famous Taiwanese high mountain tea. Ninth fact, crowded urban centers in Taiwan. Did you know that the Yanghe district in New Taipei City ranks as one of the most crowded urban centers in the world, with a population density of around 38,000 people per square kilometer? It's even more crowded than Manhattan, which only has 28,000 people per square kilometer. That's a lot of people in a small area. 10th fact, Taiwan is the homeland of the Austrasian people. Taiwan is the birthplace of the Australasian people who sailed to different parts of the world in canoes over 3,500 years ago. The indigenous people on Easter Island, in Hawaii, Fuji, New Zealand, the Philippines, Malaysia, all have roots in Taiwan. Today, the Austronesian languages are the world's largest and most widespread language family in the world. Taiwan has 16 officially recognized Aboriginal tribes, making up 2.40% of the population. That's all for our video on Taiwan's amazing facts.
Well, Alex, that was pretty good. I like that. Any thoughts about it, folks? Any thoughts?
Well, them fireworks, that was pretty dangerous.
Like they're killing
Yeah. But maybe if you got goggles on and a helmet and everything, maybe it's not so bad.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'd like to try that oolong tea that they're so famous for.
I never heard of that one either.
Well, I didn't either, but until I saw it on here, it's, they're famous for it. So I'd like to try that.
Oh, good comments.
Got some in the fridge, Geraldine. Maybe I'll send it to you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The leaves, tea leaves.
Tea leaves. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's certainly a lot to see in Taiwan. I never left Taipei, so I'm really feeling like I missed a lot. But let us go to trivia. Okay, Alex, take it away.
Thank you, Lou. So again, we'll be doing some trivia. We're going to switch it up a little bit. It's some multiple choice. And so go back to the other slide, Lou. Again, we'll be doing some multiple choice and some free response questions. So for the free response, you must say the answer. For the multiple choice, you must provide the letter of your answer choice. If you would like to provide an answer and be in the running for a prize today, you must raise your hand in Zoom. That's how we can call on you for your answer. So I want everyone in Zoom to please raise their hand. Again, you can hit more at the top right and then tap on raise hand, or you can hit reactions at the bottom if your toolbar's at the bottom and then tap on raise hand. Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I saw about 7, 8 hands. Love it. Again, don't forget to lower your hand and mute yourself after you provide your answer, just so that way we can hear from everyone, okay? But thank you, Lou, for conducting the session. Really enjoyed it. And let's see what happens with trivia.
Okay, first question. What is the capital of Taiwan?
Okay. Geraldine, what do you say?
Taipei.
Okay. Let's see. Let's get 2 more. Okay. Brenda, what do you say?
I say Taipei as well.
Okay. And Miss Doris, what do you say?
I say the same one, B.
Okay, that's 3. Lou, let's see what the answer is.
All right, congratulations. Taipei is the capital city of Taiwan and its largest metropolitan area. It is the political, economic, and cultural center of Taiwan. Kaohsiung, which I can't pronounce, is Taiwan's second largest city, while Taichung is another major city located in central Taiwan. Okay, we got a winner there, Alex. I'm going to go on to the next. Taiwan's geology has resulted in a lot of hot springs. What is unusual about the one on Green Island, 33 kilometers off the east coast of Taiwan? Oh, you got me interested in this one.
Yep. For your response question, again, please raise your hand. It's a simple answer, but definitely Google is your friend. It's a very, very interesting fact. Again, please raise your hand if you would like to share your answer. And this is these questions are all hands on deck. So it's the more that you answer, the more that you can potentially win. Brenda, what do you say? What is unusual about the Green Island?
It's the only one that has saltwater hot springs in the world, and it's heated by volcanic lava. Is that correct?
Oh,
Underwater heated.
Somehow I think that's
Yeah,
right. Should I click on it? Click it. Saltwater.
Okay,
There's only 3 saltwater hot springs in the known world. Apart from this one, there's one in Kaishu Island, Japan, and one in Sicily, Italy. Oh, its relative remoteness from the main island meant that Green Island was a favored spot to send political prisoners. Interesting. During the second half of the 20th century. Wow, that sounds interesting. I think I've seen that on, like, what's it called? The Art of the Abandoned or something on Discovery. I think I've seen a video about that. All right, good job, good job. Okay, next question. Who is often considered the founding father of the Republic of China, Taiwan? Oh, this was actually mentioned in the video. Briefly mentioned.
Okay, we'll take 3 hands for this one as well. Miss Doris, what do you say?
B.
Okay. Gracie, what do you say?
B. Male Zedong.
And then Cassandra, what do you say?
C.
Okay, Lou, let's see what the answer is.
By the way, was this person still alive? Because I remember hearing of him during my lifetime, like on television. Here we go.
Good job, Cassandra. You got it.
Okay, next, here we go. What is the traditional color for weddings in Taiwan? Oh, I know this one.
Yeah, another free response question. Again, please raise
I
your
know
hand if
this
you would
one.
like to answer. Okay, Gracie, what do you say?
Red.
Oh, that's it.
Uh-huh. Good job.
Yes.
It's
The
symbolizes
traditional color for Taiwanese weddings is red. Good question, Alex, which symbolizes joy, good fortune, and tradition. Red is a prominent color in Taiwanese culture and is used to celebrate major life milestones. Traditional gifts, the traditional gift is even a monetary sum given in a red envelope. White is actually the color of death in Taiwan. I didn't know that. All right, good question, Alex. Thanks for that. Which country has the largest number of official diplomatic relations with Taiwan? Largest number of official diplomatic relations. Somehow I think this is a trick question. I don't know why.
Okay. Okay, again, we'll take some hands for this one. Mr. Harold, what do you say?
Paraguay. C.
Alex, I don't know the answer to this, so let me know if I should proceed.
Any other takers? Any other takers for this question? Okay, Brenda, what do you say?
I'm gonna guess and say D. I don't know.
Okay. Let's see, Gracie.
I was gonna say United States also. Probably Japan.
Let's see, Miss Dolores, and then Miss.
A. Japan. A.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Oh, Miss Wilder, what do you say?
I said the United States.
Okay, and Miss Doris, last one. What do you think the answer is?
A.
Okay, Lou, let's see what it is.
Oh, it wasn't a trick question. I led you guys astray. Although the United States does not officially recognize Taiwan as a sovereign state, it maintains a strong, unofficial relationship through the Taiwan Relations Act. The U.S. is one of Taiwan's most significant international supporters, particularly in defense and trade. So based on what Mr. Harold said, now I understand. Now I get it. Okay, next. Oh, that was it. All right, Alex, take her away.
Well, again, thank you all so much for participating in our trivia. I know it was a little different today, so I hope you enjoyed the information and learned something new. I certainly did creating this session and of course just thinking of what's going on. So I really appreciate that. So again, thank you to all the correct answerers. I appreciate it. Let's see. Just making sure we have them all in here. And I do. But again, thank you all so much for attending our session today. Let's see who wins a prize. All right. So we have our list of winners here on the right-hand side, our correct answerers. I really appreciate it. So the more you participated today, the more you have a chance of winning a prize. So let's see who wins an iPad accessory prize today.
Ooh, close one.
All right, Gracie.
Gracie,
Good job.
congratulations.
Congratulations, Gracie.
Thank you. Thank
You
you.
want you want a keyboard for your iPad today. So again, congratulations.
Thank you.
No problem. Thanks so much for coming on. I hope you enjoyed our session today, Gracie.
I did. I did.
Amazing. And thank you, Lou, so much again for presenting today's session. And catch us next Wednesday at 12 o'clock for our next travel call. Thank you so much, Lou. And I'll see you all at 1:30 for today's module. Have
You
a
guys
great
check
day.
in. Watch the storm surge. Watch the
Yeah.
storm
Yeah.
surge.
Okay.
You can watch
Hope
it
it's
live.
the best.
Hey,
Siesta
Lou,
key.
Mousy
Siesta
Tongue
key.
died in 76.
Yeah,
What's
you
that?
better know.
Mousy Tongue died in 76.
Oh, so I was old enough to.
Yeah,
I thought it was
When he
Chiang
died?
Kai-shek. When did Chiang
Um,
Kai-shek die?
It was the early 20th century.
Oh, early. Was he died that early?
Yeah.
Chiang Kai-shek. Okay.
Well, again, thank you all so much for coming on.
Thanks,
Have a
Lou.
great
All right.
day.
Thanks, Lou.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks,
You have a
everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye, everybody.
everybody.
Bye
Great
bye.
job,
day.
everybody. Great. Nice
Bye.
talking,
Bye
everybody.
bye.
Thank
Bye
you.
Bye.
bye.